Let's now get you the news from Russia now, where the streets of Moscow have erupted in protest. Thousands of Russians are demonstrating for a free and fair election. Opposition leaders and their supporters are marching in solidarity. They are protesting against the Russian government's decision not to register some independent candidates from running in the upcoming city council election. They've defied a ban which has been enforced with violent detentions during previous rounds of protests. Right, these are the latest visuals coming to you from central Moscow, where the protests are taking place as we speak. Meanwhile, Moscow prosecutors had warned that the protest was not authorized and that the participants would have to face the consequences. According to some reports, the Russian police has allocated detention buses and water cannon trucks on some of the side streets in central Moscow. The weekly protests first erupted in July, and the initial rallies drew tens of thousands of people in some of the largest political demonstrations seen in the country since 2002. Right, shifting focus from Russia now to Hong Kong, where the protests are intensifying as we speak. Clashes erupted after thousands of pro-democracy demonstrators in Hong Kong gathered for a 13th consecutive weekend, defying a police ban. The protesters lit a fire on the steps outside a police station in Hong Kong. The protesters used plastic bollards, metal fencing and seating from a nearby sports ground to build the barricade before starting the blaze. Now, today also marks the 5th anniversary of a decision by China's ruling Communist Party against fully democratic elections in Hong Kong. Earlier, demonstrators lit fires and attacked the Legislative Council building as thousands joined the march. Protesters hurled fiery objects in the direction of the riot gear-clad police officers, who responded by deploying tear gas. Police also used blue-dyed high-pressure water cannons at protesters. Traditionally, the blue-dyed water cannons are used to make it easier for the police to identify protesters afterwards. And the protesters in turn used laser lights at the police personnel. Now, this is not the first time that the protesters brought laser pointers to the demonstration. Remember, the Saturday protests were called off after prominent pro-democracy activists Joshua Wong and Agnes Chow were arrested and released on bail yesterday. The unrest in Hong Kong, which began as a protest against an extradition bill, has now morphed into one of the biggest crises China's President Xi Jinping has faced since he took power in 2012. And beyond Lisbon's Patrick Fogg gets you the latest from Ground Zero in Hong Kong. Take a look.
Well, this is a very tense situation indeed. I'm right in the middle of Causeway Bay, which is a key shopping district where a lot of the protesters have gathered now. We are actually standing in front of a tram station that some protesters are trying to light at this moment. And at this very time, police are also advancing from Wan Chai to the west. And many of the protesters have been backing down along the way towards North Point. And if you look behind me, you can perhaps see some of them in the distance there. They do seem to be trying to hold their ground, and they are creating havoc around the area. They are digging up bricks from the ground and breaking them in half to make them easier to throw. There's also a lot of banging you can hear going on metal railings. And there's also some arguments going on with some of the people in the neighborhood, some people that don't support what they're doing. We have been seeing people shine laser lights at some windows up there at the moment. But as I say, it's a very tense situation indeed right now.
Right,